Welcome students in the third part of chapter 8. In this video, we are going to discuss about two diseases like AIDS and cancer. AIDS, it is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. AIDS, it is a deficiency of immune system. Here, syndrome means a group of symptoms. So basically AIDS is a group of symptoms. It's a syndrome. It's not a disease, a particular disease, and it leads to the deficiency of immune system. It caused by the human immunodeficiency virus, which is HIV. HIV is a retrovirus with RNA genome. AIDS was the first AIDS was first reported in America in 1981, and in the last 25 years, it killed over 25 million persons. So HIV is a retrovirus. What is the retrovirus? It is RNA genome containing virus. And in the last 25 years, it has mostly killed 25 million people all around the world. The method of transmission of AIDS is through sexual contact with infected person, transfusion of contaminated blood and blood products. Third one, sharing of infected needles, and fourth, from infected mother to her child through placenta. Who are at a high risk of getting HIV? The individual with multiple sexual partners, the individual who require repeated blood transfusion, the individual who are drug addicts who take drugs intravenously by its own because they are in continuous, they are in the higher risk of using used syringe or needles, and the last one are the children which are born to an HIV infected mother. These are the four types of people which are at high risk of getting HIV. HIV doesn't spread by mere touch or physical contact like kissing, hugging, sharing food, insect bites, sneezing, or coughing, through sweat or using the same toilet seats or bathing. It spreads only through body fluids. So, exchange of body fluids will lead to transmission of HIV virus. There is a time lag between the infection and appearance of symptoms. So there is a difference between HIV positive person and AIDS, because HIV positive just indicates that presence of a virus in it and appearance of symptoms is the AIDS. So it may lead from few months to around 5 to 10 years. Let's learn about the replication of retroviruses that are RNA viruses. Here on our screen, we can see a virus, a retrovirus, which has viral RNA core. The viral RNA core enters into the cell. Here, viral DNA is produced by reverse transcriptase. A reverse transcriptase is an enzyme which will convert RNA into DNA. Once a viral DNA is produced, it's going to enter into the host genome, and new viral DNA, new viral RNA is formed that leads to formation of new viruses. This is how a new virus is produced, and these new viruses will now enter into the healthy cell, the other cells to infect it. Here it is. HIV enters the body to macrophages. Now, how the HIV infect our immune system, the life cycle of HIV. Once the HIV enters into the body, to the macrophages act as an HIV factory. The RNA replicates in the presence of reverse transcriptase to form the RNA, DNA, or viral DNA. This viral DNA now incorporated into the host DNA, and infected cell will start producing viral particles. These HIV viruses now will enter into the helper cells, T helper cells. These are the T lymphocytes, where The HIV will replicate and produce progeny viruses. And more viruses, they are going to attack more and more TH other cells that are normal cells. And ultimately, that leads to reduce in the T cells, and that leads to weakening of immunity. So once again, HIV when enters, it invades, it enters into the inside the macrophages, where macrophages are known as HIV factory. And inside the macrophages, with the help of reverse transcriptase, DNA, viral DNA is produced that will lead to formation of DNA, that will lead to formation of viral particles. These viral particles will enter into the T cells and start multiplying over there, and ultimately these are the T cells reduces. Effects, diagnosis and treatments of AIDS. The effect of AIDS are during this period, person suffers from fever, diarrhea and weight loss. Due to deficiency of TH cells, he or she may be infected with mycobacterium, viruses, fungi and parasite like toxoplasma. Diagnosis method is ELISA test, which is enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay. Antiviral drugs are partially effective because they are the virus. They can only prolong the life of the patient, but they are not going to eliminate HIV completely. So what are the preventions of AIDS? We have the treatment is not possibly present there of AIDS, so prevention is better. The method of preventions are educate people about AIDS, use of disposable needles and syringes every time, free distribution of condoms, making blood banks safe from HIV, regular checkups for HIV should be done, avoiding safe sex, advocating safe sex, and lastly, controlling drug abuse. So these are the methods through which AIDS can be prevented. Now moving ahead with the next disease, that is cancer. Cancer is an abnormal and uncontrolled multiplication of cells that result in the formation of a tumor. What is a tumor? It's mass of a cell. Normal cells shows a contact inhibition. That is, when they come in contact with the other cell, they inhibit their uncontrolled growth. And cancer cells do not have this property. There are two types of tumors, benign tumor and malignant tumor. Benign tumors. Benign tumors are confined to a place of its origin. They do not spread from one part to another part, and thus they cause little damage. On the other hand, malignant tumors, they proliferate. They are the proliferating cells that grow rapidly, invade and damage the surrounding normal tissues as well. Due to active division and growth, they starve normal cells by competing for nutrition, and thus they harm the normal cells. Cells sludged from the tumors reach the other sites via blood, where they will form a new tumor, and this is known as metastasis. So comparing the benign tumor and the malignant tumor is more deadly, dangerous than the benign tumor. What are the causes of cancer? Let's learn about the carcinogens. Carcinogens are the cancer-causing agent. It could be physical, chemical, or biological. Physical is ionizing radiations like X-rays, gamma rays, and non-ionizing radiations like UV rays. In chemical, it comes in the tobacco smoke, major cause of lung cancer, vinyl chloride, caffeine, nicotine, mustard gas, etc. And under biological agents are the oncogenic viruses, cellular oncogenes, which are known as CONC or proto-oncogenes, etc. When CONC in normal cell is activated, the cells become oncogenes. Detection of and diagnosis of cancer. The detection can be done by biopsy, imaging techniques, use of antibodies, or molecular biology techniques. Biopsy. A thin piece of suspected tissue is stained and examined under microscope. This is known as histopathological study. In case of leukemia, that is blood cancer, biopsy and histopathological studies, blood and bone marrow test for the increased cell count is done. The other one is imaging techniques, that is radiography, CT scan or MRI. In radiography, X-rays are used. In CT scan, use of X-rays to generate a 3D image of the internal object is done. And in MRI, that is magnetic resonance imaging, it uses the magnetic fields and non-ionizing radiations to detect pathological and physiological changes in the living tissues. The third type method is use of antibodies, that is against the cancer specific antigens, and last one is molecular biology technique. It detects the cancer related genes. Such individuals should avoid carcinogens like tobacco, smoke, caffeine, nicotine, etc. Now let's know about the treatment of cancer. The methods are radiotherapy, chemotherapy, immunotherapy, and surgery. Radiotherapy. Here, tumor cells are eradicated lethally without damaging surrounding normal cells. So, here the tumor cells are irradiated, where without damaging surrounding normal tissues. In chemotherapy, chemotherapeutic drugs are used. Many drugs have side effects like hair loss, anemia, etc. In immunotherapy, patients are given biological responses modifier like alpha interferons, which activates their immune system and help in destroying the tumor. And lastly is the surgery. Most cancers are treated by combination of these methods like surgery, radiotherapy, and chemotherapy. Thanks for watching.